Cinco de Mayo weekend will, of course, be some great fights. One of them being David Benavidez, two-division world champion, jumping up to his third division to face the unified cruiserweight world champion, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, for his WBA and WBO cruiserweight titles. Now, of course, obviously, this is advertised as an all-action Mexican showdown, not only as the main event, but also the whole card. The whole card's full of Mexicans versus Mexicans, or at least Mexicans against people who have Mexican heritage, right? Because in the co-main event, Armando Resendiz, the now crowned WBA champion after defeating Caleb Plant for the regular belt, will be defending it against the former super welterweight champion Jaime Munguia, who is coming off of his revenge tour, as you could say, beating Bruno Sarase by decision. And the last fight we'll be talking about, Oscar Duarte, who should have fought for the 140-pound title against Richardson Hitchens, but of course that never happened. He's now facing Angel Fierro, who obviously is coming off of his disqualification loss. What the hell? Alright, I did not know that. We'll talk about that later. But before that, what most people know him for is his unanimous decision loss to Isaac Pitbull Cruz in an all-action fight. They were supposed to have a rematch. It never happened. You get the point, right? But besides that, this is a great fight. An absolutely stacked card. Is it worth $80? I mean, no. 80 bucks is a lot. That's a lot, man. I'll be real with you. But besides it, let's stop talking about money and economics and stuff. Let's talk about the damn fights. Angel Fierro is 23-4 with 2 draws, 18 wins by way of knockout. Of course, he is coming off of the DQ loss to Abraham Cordillo, and he did not waste that opportunity with the win on his record, and later defeated a 16-2 fighter by split decision. So obviously he's doing good for himself. Fierro, not so much. Obviously he lost to Cruz. Before that he lost to Alfredo Santiago, and overall, he's been around. He's had his highs and lows. He's a all-action power puncher, lots of output, very durable, but he is taking on the migraine. That's right, best nickname in all of boxing. Oscar Duarte, 30-2 with the 1 draw. Now, obviously, Duarte was set to face Richardson Hitchens for his IBF title. Hitchens pulled out. People call them a duck because they believe he was scared of Duarte. And they're like, oh, but he was like, I don't know, he was sick or hospitalized. But, like, does that ever really stop anyone from accusing someone else for being a duck? Schofield literally had hospital photos, and they still call him a duck. So, yeah, anything on the table. But besides that, Oscar Duarte is also a high-output power puncher. But the main difference is, it's just 2 Mexicans who like to swing punches, right? They're basically the same guy. No, they're not. Duarte's defense is a lot better than Fierro's. His punches are a lot stronger than Fierro's. I think he's overall, just bigger than Fierro. And what I'm trying to say is, Fierro's a good fighter, right? He got power, he got some type of speed in his punches. Footwork, he got some. He can move around the ring. He's not completely glued to the floor, right? But Duarte basically beats him in every conceivable category. The only thing Fierro probably beats him in is his hairstyle, but, hairstyles don't win fights. If that was true, I'd be the undisputed champion of the world. But besides that, this will be a very fun fight. But Duarte has stopped the unstoppable. He has stopped Miguel Medueno. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt. Okay, here's the thing. Medueno literally just got stopped today as of recording this. He literally got stopped bad in his last fight. But, safe to assume Duarte cracked his chin. And, that's about it. And he also stopped Jojo Diaz, who's been in absolute wars against power punchers, not only basically in every division. He's also gone up to 147 and fought some good power punchers and has basically walked out kind of unscathed. So what I'm trying to say is Duarte will inevitably break down Fierro and stop him. I would say 6 rounds or less. That's right. It's going to be a fun fight for as long as it lasts, but I think his tighter defense, his movement, his body punches, and overall his power and skills will be too much for Fierro, giving him the stoppage victory. The next one being the co-main event, Armando Resendiz defending his title against Jaime Munguia. Of course, Jaime Munguia is 45-2. 35 wins by way of knockout, 1 loss by way of knockout. Of course, his 2 losses come by Canelo for his undisputed titles. He lost unanimous decision Somewhat close fight. Not that close. He also got dropped, so that definitely made it not that close. But he lost to Bruno Sorace, 25-0-2, and I believe he had like 4 knockouts, one of them being Munguia himself. So obviously not that good, getting stopped in your own backyard. And then he fought him again in a somewhat closer, less fast-paced battle. He clearly wanted it, but to be honest, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Even if you could be like, oh, but he got knocked down and stuff like that. But yeah, but you're supposed to beat the guy with no power who you were already supposed to beat. So, people kind of expected him to actually do something, but he didn't. Armando Resendiz is 16-2. He himself is coming off of his unanimous decision win against Caleb Plant. Obviously, a very good fight where most people thought Plant was going to win. He was going to get the WBA regular title, fight Jermall Charlo for like a type of championship fight because, obviously Crawford vacated everything. So you would think that they would fight for the title. But no, Plant lost to Resendiz. Charlo saw that he wasn't going to get that big payday and then retired, promptly retired. So, that may not be the reason why he retired. But at the same time, they had a plan and they all agreed to it. But then the plan got stopped and they're like, all right, I had enough. I'm going to quit now. But of course, his 2 losses come by Marcos Hernandez, who was not a good fighter. Okay, I hate being mean. He's a good fighter. He's not bottom of the barrel, but he was not elite. He was 14-4-2. He lost decision. Then he got stopped by Elijah Garcia. Now, here's the thing. Those fights, first of all, his entire resume is weird. A bunch of people with losses, a bunch of people who he should not have lost to probably. And then you have random things like he beat Jared Hurd by stoppage, back when he wasn't completely withered. By the way, that's my new, term, adjective as people would say. Yeah, I stole it from the guy that does MMA. He's hilarious. But he then, after losing to Elijah Garcia, fought a 5-2 fighter, then just straight up demolished Caleb Plant in a fight. So obviously, like I said, he doesn't make any sense. But hey, what are you going to do? 11 wins by way of knockout? Come on. He don't have the most power, but damn, he can sure stun you. Now here's the thing. Resendiz, here's the thing. If the Resendiz that fought Garcia fought Plant would have won. Some might even say, some people, now here's the thing. Like, you don't blame them why they thought Plant was going to win. Because, through his past fights, he thought, oh yeah, he's not the best. He's the tough Mexican warrior that could give you his all. But, adjustments on the fly, not so much. But I don't know who's in his corner now, but damn, they really whipped him into shape. So here you have Armando Resendiz, a guy who moved up from middleweight. Obviously, that's kind of irrelevant because Jaime Munguia is originally from super welterweight, but you get the point. With power, good skills, good defense. I'm agree with you. The way he was fighting Plant, I was like, damn. Like, this is the same Resendiz? What the hell? Like, they cloned this guy or something, bro. There's no way. Against Munguia, who may or may not be gun-shy because he did not really go after Sorace in the fight. He landed his punches, but, it was slower than usual. And people are picking Resendiz to win. And here's the thing. Once again, I don't blame him because, look, people are picking Resendiz to win, which I don't blame him because if this was a couple fights ago, obviously, Munguia would be like, oh, he's going to win in 5 rounds or less. He's going to destroy him, right? But now it's like, ooh, hold on, wait a minute. Munguia's defense is still sus. He already got shown that he could get stopped by someone with no power. So obviously, Resendiz is like 70% ratio isn't really that relevant. Oh, who cares? He got knocked out by a guy with 20%, right? Munguia has high offense, high this. But the thing is, I don't want to say they're predictable, but clearly it's predictable because Sorace caught him. It's like the same combinations over and over and over again. And Resendiz, this version of Resendiz can and will adapt to it. Munguia, on the other hand, I don't think he can. Now, obviously, Munguia, I think, is in the Canelo camp now. I think he was for a while. And obviously, Reynoso is trainer of the year. But at the same time, Resendiz is trained by the guy who got, the biggest upsets in, recent boxing memories. What's his name? Like, Manny Robles, I think that's his name. That dude got, 3 upsets under his resume, and one of them being Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua, and obviously Resendiz versus Plant. So, I don't know what the third one is, but it's another one. Like, damn, both got great corners. The difference is Resendiz at this point in his career is only going up. Munguia kind of stagnated, as one would say, right? And I'm talking in circles. What I'm trying to say is Resendiz will adapt to Munguia's pressure and combinations and manage to pull off a decision win. I get it. I was talking about, Munguia got stopped by a 20% ratio guy. Now, here's the thing. That's true. But I think he just got caught doing something dumb, which I do not believe he's going to do again. But then again, it's Munguia, so, flip a coin is probably what's going to happen. But no, give me Resendiz. I think surviving the early onslaught, the early storm against Munguia, make the proper adjustments to his combination of relentlessness. There's something. His pressure, as I'm trying to say. It's pressure. There's a reason why I'm doing YouTube, right? And get himself a unanimous decision win. Munguia, he has a shot. I'm pretty sure it's a 50-50 matchup on, was it? I don't know what, but it's on sports books, right? I'm pretty sure it's like a 50% thing. I don't know. But yeah, getting Armando Resendiz with his tighter defense. Basically the exact same thing as Fierro, except Munguia has the power and size advantage and everything. Because here's the thing, both of them got stopped. The difference is, at super middleweight, Munguia got stopped by a dude with no power. Resendiz got stopped by a dude, a division below, who is on a losing streak. Or not a losing streak, but should be on a losing streak. But he has power, so, Matter of fact, yeah, Resendiz is the underdog. Which makes sense, because everything. But I don't trust Munguia. I don't trust that when Resendiz makes the adjustment that Munguia will make the proper adjustments as well. I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. Munguia knows how to fight one way, and he literally fought the same way he did with Sarase. The difference is he just wasn't an idiot when he did it. But now, the main event. The unified world champion Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez takes on the Mexican monster, or El Monstro nowadays, David Benavidez. Zurdo is 48-1 with 30 wins by way of knockout. Unified world titles. He won his first title against Arsen Goulamirian, unanimous decision win, not a close fight. He then beat Chris Billum-Smith to unify the titles, although that was I guess you could say, it was seen as a closer fight. It was, but it kind of wasn't in the second half. And then he beat Uniel Dorticos in a somewhat close fight as well. So obviously, recently he's been getting his resume up to snuff, as they would say, because he started off cruiserweight fighting the former light heavyweight world champion Joe Smith Jr. in a not close fight. But, of course, his one loss is, of course, to Dimitri Bivol, where he attempted to become a two-division world champion, attempting to snatch Bivol's WBA light heavyweight title. Now, of course, obviously, Gilberto Ramirez, or Zurdo, is seen as a good fighter, especially at cruiserweight, because he is a technically smaller fighter moving up, right? He's from the lower weight classes, as they would say. He has better footwork than your average cruiserweight. Well, except probably Opataya. He has faster hands. That's to everyone, probably besides Opataya. And he's got a great chin. Faster hands. Overall, just a more mobile cruiserweight. Everyone except probably Opataya. But he is now facing one of his toughest tests, if not the toughest test of his career, David Benavidez. You might be saying, oh, but Bivol. Yeah, well, Bivol ducked Benavidez. I mean, basically everyone ducked Benavidez, except Zurdo. I don't know, maybe you didn't get the memo. Hey, Zurdo, maybe you shouldn't fight Benavidez. But Benavidez is 31-0. Obviously, he is now the WBC light heavyweight champion after defeating the Nail to claim that spot. He then fought David Morrell to unify the interim titles, which is hilarious, becoming the WBC interim and WBA regular title holder until he got upgraded because Bivol vacated. He then defended the title against three-time title challenger Anthony Yarde, basically just destroying him in the fight, right? It wasn't even close. Benavidez is only getting better at light heavyweight, and obviously Benavidez, people are saying Benavidez is going to go up there and he's going to stop Zurdo, right? Here's the thing. Just because he stopped Anthony Yarde does not mean he's going to stop Zurdo Ramirez. Zurdo Ramirez is a very tough cookie. Now, of course, with the body, I don't know. We have not seen that really happen yet. No one's really invested too much in the body. Obviously, everyone does throw their fair share of body shots, but, never really fully invest. Benavidez will do that. And here's the thing. Zurdo is the bigger guy. That's what people are thinking. Oh, this is why he's going to win. He's the bigger guy. Benavidez is jumping up 25 pounds to face him, and that will give Zurdo the edge. Now, here's the thing. I don't think so, because Zurdo only has really much one advantage up at cruiserweight, and it's that he's been there longer. He has been there for 4 fights at this point. He has unified the titles. He has basically fully adjusted to his cruiserweight build, while Benavidez has not. Why? Well, simple, because simple is the only advantage, because Benavidez is a smaller guy moving up, so he's basically doing what Zurdo Ramirez did. He's really durable, really only been hurt by David Morrell, who he himself is damn near one of the biggest, strongest punchers at 175 currently. Also a mobile light heavyweight, tricky, southpaw, He has really great defense. Obviously the whole thing like, oh, he has no defense. And here's the thing, the way he defends makes you think that he doesn't have good defense, but he does. He's a very weird guy, right? And his size, although being from super middleweight, which Zurdo is also, he does not look that off compared to Zurdo. Yeah, Zurdo is clearly the bigger guy, but Benavidez does not look that far off, right? And the reason why the biggest advantage to Zurdo is that he's been there longer is because we already seen Benavidez jump up a division. Obviously, after never getting the Canelo fight because Canelo ducked him, he moved up to light heavyweight to face the former champion, Daniel. Obviously, a much older guy, but still somewhat mobile with a slight pop to his punch, right? He looked off in that fight, mostly because he was facing a somewhat mobile light heavyweight, a veteran as well. But he looked off. People did not really think, he's finally finding someone his own size and he can't stop him. Against the Morrell fight, obviously he got hurt in that fight. Once again, they're like, oh, now he's finding someone his size. Now all of a sudden he's not like that. But that was only, 7 pounds of difference? He moved up only 7 pounds to light heavyweight. And now he's jumping up 25 pounds to fight a cruiserweight, unified cruiserweight, right? That's right, unified cruiserweight champion. Definitely number 2 in the division, only behind Apataya. And we're somehow supposed to believe Benavidez will somehow dog walk Zurdo. And here's the thing. On paper, he should. He should dog walk Zurdo. Every stat, every conceivable attribute is leaning towards Benavidez except size. Speed, power, everything in between is either on the side of Benavidez or equal. But like I said, we already seen him jump up only 7 pounds to light heavyweight to face a older, inactive former world champion. But now he is facing a guy not in his prime, he is 34, but a guy who's been there for longer, who's fought the better guys in that division. You could even say the better guys overall, right? The best guy in the light heavyweight, as you could say, circle was David Morrell. And David Morrell would probably hold his own in cruiserweight, but Zurdo has clearly faced the better opposition at cruiserweight. Zurdo is slower, meaning Benavidez will not have the same problems as he did with the nail. And his shots are more looping instead of straight, and is a lot slower than what he has seen. Obviously, he has faced his fair share of fast punchers, twitchy counter punchers as well, basically anything in between. If Benavidez struggled with only 7 pounds, how will he struggle, or how much will he struggle with 25 pounds? That's the real question. He's lucky that he's facing a guy that also moved up, so technically they're both smaller guys in a heavier division. So here's two scenarios. The more likely one is Benavidez will beat Zurdo via split decision or 7-5. His attributes aren't that good at cruiserweight. Zurdo will land his cleaner punches, will land consistently. But Benavidez's output and speed and flashier punches should win him the fight. The difference is, there's also a very much also likely scenario that he just straight up looked lethargic at cruiserweight. Remember, it's a 25-pound jump. Zurdo jumped it, and he did relatively well, but he did it against an inactive light heavyweight champion. Kind of a warm-up. Benavidez is going straight to basically the final boss. But if there's anyone that could do it, it's Benavidez. Benavidez has everything he can to win, and I think that he will win. It'll be a way closer fight than what people think. It's not going to be a landslide for either fighter. I think it's going to be a close fight. Benavidez by 7-5. It's going to be a really close fight. But other than that, it's a very good card. Once again, worth $80? Probably not, but it's a good fight. Maybe worth going to one of them Buffalo Wild Wings or something and just watching the fight there, right? Or maybe a movie theater. You never know. They might be playing that. But besides that, hope you enjoyed this boxing video, and leave who you think is going to win down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this one. I hope to catch you in the next one.